The crowd was still shouting so loudly that their voices bounced off the tall walls of the Bangkok Sports Arena. It was like thunder rolling inside the building. People stomped their feet. People waved their arms. People whistled and screamed. The air inside was hot and heavy. It smelled of sweat, hard work, and adrenaline. It was the smell of people who had been fighting and people who had been cheering without stopping. The smell was strong, but nobody cared. Everyone was too excited. Bright white spotlights shone down from the ceiling. They poured onto the middle of the stage, onto the big square fighting ring. The floor of the ring was not clean. It had marks, stains, and even drops of blood. That was the proof of how hard people had fought that night. And right there, standing in the middle of the ring, was the winner of the big fight. His name was Aaron Vikai. He was only 27 years old, but already famous in Thailand for being a Muay Thai fighter. Aaron's body was strong like stone. His chest and arms looked like they were carved by an artist. His jawline was so sharp people joked it could cut glass. But Aaron was not only known for his fists. He was also known for his mouth, because he loved to talk, to tease, and to show off. Just a few minutes ago, Aaron had ended his fight in a shocking way. With one powerful punch, he knocked out his opponent. The other fighter had fallen flat on the ground, not able to stand up. The match ended quickly, in only the second round. The crowd had gone wild. Now the crowd kept cheering for Aaron. Their cheers made him feel bigger, stronger, and prouder. He raised his arms high like a king. He walked around the ring, showing off, enjoying every clap and every scream. He wasn't just happy about winning. He was enjoying the feeling of power. He was basking in it, like someone standing under the warm sun. But then, Aaron made a mistake that would change the night. With sweat running down his face, Aaron grabbed the microphone from the announcer. He held it tight and began pacing around the ring, left to right, like a lion in a cage. He looked at the crowd like they were his loyal fans. "I told you." Aaron shouted into the mic. His voice was loud and sharp. It was full of pride and arrogance. "I told you, and you didn't believe me. There's no one in this building who can take me down. No one." The crowd shouted even louder. Some were excited, some were nervous. They cheered partly because they liked Aaron's confidence, and partly because they were scared he might point at them and insult them if they stayed quiet. But Aaron wasn't finished. Oh no, he wanted more. His dark eyes scanned across the audience. He looked left, then right, then higher up, then lower down. He was searching for something. No, for someone. Someone he could call out. Someone he could challenge. Then his eyes stopped. He froze. He had found a face he knew. A face everyone knew. It was Jason Statham. Jason was sitting quietly in the third row. He wore a simple black t-shirt and jeans. He didn't look flashy. He didn't look like a star trying to get attention. He was just there to watch the fights, like everyone else. Of course, it was impossible for Jason Statham to ever fully blend in. He was a world-famous action movie star. Everyone in the building had noticed him at least once. But Jason himself was calm, quiet, and relaxed. He hadn't expected to be part of the show. But now the spotlight found him. Aaron's lips curled into a sly smirk. He pointed straight at Jason. The cameras quickly turned toward Jason. The big screen above the ring showed his face. Everyone gasped. The whole arena knew what was coming. "I could take you, Statham," Aaron shouted, his voice booming through the speakers. The crowd erupted. Some laughed, some screamed, some covered their mouths in shock. Did Aaron just say that? Did he just challenge Jason Statham, the man known for being tough, fast, and fearless in movies, and also in real life? Jason didn't jump up or yell back. He didn't even look surprised. He stayed calm, his face almost unreadable. The corners of his lips lifted slightly in a small smile. His eyes, however, told a different story. They were sharp, focused, like the eyes of a predator waiting for the right moment. The crowd split in two. Some thought this was just a funny stunt, maybe a joke to entertain the fans. Others, however, felt a chill in the air. They realized that Aaron might have just made the biggest mistake of his life. Jason didn't stand right away. He leaned forward first, placing his strong forearms on his knees. He studied Aaron. He looked at him not like a fan, not like a star, but like a hunter measuring his prey. Finally, Jason rose from his seat. The sound in the arena changed instantly. The screams turned into a deep silence. It was so quiet, people could hear their own heartbeats. The air grew heavy. Everyone felt a tension in their chest. Jason began walking toward the ring. He didn't rush. He didn't need to. His steps were steady, confident, and powerful. Every move said, "I don't need to prove anything, but I will if I must." The event organizers froze. They didn't know what to do. Should they stop Jason? Should they let him in? Should they pretend this wasn't happening? Nobody wanted to be the one to stand in his way. Aaron's cocky smile faltered just a little. He felt a small crack in his wall of confidence, but his pride was too big. He couldn't back down now. He lifted his chin higher, pretending he wasn't nervous. Jason climbed into the ring. The crowd went wild again. Phones flashed as people recorded the moment. This was not just another fight. This was something they would tell stories about for years. But Jason didn't grab the microphone. He didn't yell or boast. He didn't need to. He just stood there, looking at Aaron with calm, serious eyes. When he finally spoke, his voice was low and sharp. "You're proud of that win," Jason said. "Good for you. But pride can make you careless." Aaron scoffed, waving his hand. "Careless? No, I'm just better. Simple as that." Jason's eyes narrowed. "Better, until you face someone who's been where you haven't. I'm not here to embarrass you, kid, but you asked for this." The crowd exploded again, sensing a real fight might happen. The referee looked around nervously, then raised his hand. He knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. He couldn't stop it. Instead, he made it official. He signaled for an exhibition round. It wouldn't be a full fight, just a short test, just a taste. But everyone in the room knew it would be unforgettable. The referee motioned to the corner. Someone quickly handed Jason a pair of gloves. He slipped them on, his movements smooth and practiced. Aaron bounced on his feet, grinning again, trying to hide his nerves. "Let's go, movie star," he taunted. "Time to see if you're real or just special effects." Jason didn't reply. He simply tightened his gloves and took his stance. The crowd roared louder than ever before. The bell hadn't even rung yet, but history was about to be made. The crowd was loud and excited. People stood up on their feet, clapping and shouting. Almost everyone held up their phones to record what was about to happen. Every eye in the big arena was looking at the ring in the center. Bright lights shined down on it. The sound of the bell rang, clear and sharp. Ding, ding, ding. The fight had started. Aaron, a young fighter full of energy, rushed forward the very second the bell rang. His steps were quick and loud against the canvas floor. His eyes were burning with confidence, almost like fire. He threw a fast jab with his hand, just to test his opponent. Then he lifted his leg and kicked. But Jason, the man across from him, didn't flinch at all. He wasn't scared. He wasn't even surprised. He simply moved aside with perfect timing, his steps smooth like he had practiced them 1,000 times before. Jason's movements were sharp, clean, and controlled. He didn't waste any energy. He didn't move unless he needed to. When Aaron attacked, Jason responded right away, like he had seen it coming before it even happened. Every block, every dodge, every small counter he made looked almost surgical, like a doctor using a sharp tool carefully, without mistake. Nothing Jason did was fancy. He didn't show off. He didn't spin or jump or try to look cool. But everything he did worked. The crowd noticed this right away. They could see the difference between the two fighters. Aaron was quick. He was strong. He was aggressive. He came forward with a lot of speed and force. He wanted to win badly, and he wanted everyone to see how powerful he was. But Jason was different. Jason was like water, calm, flowing, smooth, yet dangerous. Just like water can be gentle when it flows in a river, but powerful enough to carve through rock or sweep away anything in its path. Jason's fighting was calm but strong. Then it happened. Aaron swung a big right hand, looping through the air, aiming for Jason's head. But in a blur, Jason slipped to the side. He pivoted on his foot, moved his body just right, and with perfect timing, tapped Aaron on the jaw with a quick punch. It wasn't a hard punch. It wasn't meant to knock Aaron out, but it landed so perfectly that Aaron stumbled backward, surprised and off balance. The crowd exploded with noise. People cheered, shouted, and clapped. They jumped up and waved their arms. They had just seen something special. Aaron's face changed. At first, his arrogance, the pride and cockiness he always carried, melted away. His grin was gone. His eyebrows tightened. His lips pressed together. For the first time, he wasn't angry or overconfident. He was frustrated. And then, slowly, that frustration turned into something else. Something rare. Something he wasn't used to feeling. Humility. The round ended before the fight could go any further. The bell rang again. Ding, ding, ding. Jason calmly took off his gloves. He tossed them aside, not even tired, not even breathing hard. He walked over to Aaron, who was still catching his breath, sweat dripping from his forehead and running down his neck. "You've got talent," Jason said, his voice steady and clear. "But talent means nothing without respect. Respect for the fight, respect for others, and most of all, respect yourself." Aaron didn't say anything right away. His chest rose and fell as he breathed heavily. Drops of sweat splashed onto the floor of the ring. His mind was racing. He wanted to argue, to say something back, but deep inside, he knew Jason was right. So instead, after a long moment, he gave a small nod. "Maybe I needed that," he admitted quietly, his voice soft, just loud enough for Jason to hear. Jason placed a hand on his shoulder. His touch was firm, but kind. "We all do," he said. At that moment, the crowd didn't just cheer. They roared. But it wasn't the kind of roar people make when they want to see blood or violence. It wasn't for someone getting knocked out. It was for the moment they had just witnessed, a fighter being humbled, not through humiliation, but through wisdom. Later that night, after the arena had emptied and the cheers had faded, Aaron sat alone in the locker room. His gloves lay on the bench beside him. His head hung low. The smell of sweat and tape filled the room. He replayed the fight in his head again and again. Not the punches, not the kick, not even the stumble after Jason's counterpunch. What stayed with him was the look in Jason's eyes. It was a look that said, "I've been where you are. Learn from this, or you'll lose more than a fight." And Aaron listened. Months passed. Aaron trained harder than ever, but not just with his body, with his heart and mind. He stopped showing off. He stopped thinking he was untouchable. He still fought with strength and speed, but now he fought with patience, with discipline, with respect. Fans began to notice the change. Reporters noticed too. Aaron still won fights, and sometimes he still lost, but he was different. He bowed to his opponents. He thanked his trainers. He spoke about honor, about controlling his anger, about being calm. The arrogance was gone, and when people asked him, "What changed? Why do you fight so differently now?" Aaron would smile and say, "A man named Jason reminded me that real strength isn't just about hitting hard. It's about knowing when not to." The night that had begun as just another big show, another loud spectacle, had ended as a lesson. A lesson not just for Aaron, but for everyone who had been there. Pride can be loud, but respect is stronger. The arena was huge, bigger than a school gym, bigger than a movie theater. Bright lights shined down on the center where the ring stood. The ring was like a big square box, raised above the floor. Around it were ropes, keeping the fighters inside. The floor was white canvas, but by the end of fights it always had sweat marks and shoe prints all over it. People filled the seats. Thousands of them. Some held popcorn. Some drank soda. Some waved signs with fighter names on them. Others just shouted at the top of their lungs. Everyone was excited. Everyone was ready. Two fighters stood in the ring. One was Aaron. He was young, strong, and fast. He was the kind of fighter who liked to show off. He smiled and flexed his muscles before the fight began. He liked when the crowd cheered for him. He liked when people shouted his name. He thought he was the best, and he wanted everyone to believe it too. The other was Jason. He was older, calm. His eyes didn't wander. His face wasn't smiling. but it wasn't angry either. He looked like water, peaceful but deep, like an ocean that could turn into a storm at any second. Jason didn't care about showing off. He cared about the fight itself, about what it meant. When the bell rang, Aaron rushed in. "Ha!" he shouted, throwing his fist out. The jab shot forward like lightning. His glove cut through the air with speed. But Jason simply turned his head, just a little, and the punch missed. Aaron tried a kick. His leg swung up high. The crowd gasped, but Jason stepped aside again, so smoothly it almost looked like he was gliding. Every time Aaron attacked, Jason answered back, not with big moves, but with smart ones. A block here, a dodge there, a counterpunch that touched just enough to make Aaron think. It was like watching a storm crash against a stone wall. Aaron was the storm, wild and loud. Jason was the wall, steady and unshaken. Then came the big moment. Aaron swung his right hand as hard as he could, aiming to knock Jason's head back. The punch came in fast and wide, but Jason ducked under it, pivoted on his foot, and threw a short punch straight to Aaron's chin. Pop. It wasn't hard. It wasn't meant to hurt, but it was perfect. Aaron's eyes widened as his feet stumbled backward. He nearly fell but caught himself. The crowd roared. They had seen something special, something clean, something perfect. For the first time, Aaron's pride cracked. He wasn't smiling anymore. His fire turned into confusion. He was used to winning. He was used to overpowering people. But Jason wasn't like the others. By the time the bell rang to end the round, Aaron's face wasn't the same. Jason walked over calmly. His voice was steady. "You're strong," Jason said. "But strength is nothing without respect. Respect the fight. Respect the people you face. Respect yourself." Aaron breathed hard, his chest rising and falling. Sweat dripped onto the floor. He wanted to argue, but instead he whispered, "Maybe I needed that." Jason put a hand on his shoulder. "We all do." The crowd erupted again, but this time it wasn't for blood. It wasn't for a knockout. It was for the wisdom in Jason's words. That night, in the quiet of the locker room, Aaron thought again and again about Jason's eyes. They weren't angry. They weren't mean. They were understanding, like he had been there before. And in the months that followed, Aaron changed. He trained not just to win, but to be better. He fought not just with fists, but with patience. The arrogance was gone, and whenever people asked him what changed, he said softly, "A man named Jason reminded me that true strength isn't just about hitting hard. It's about knowing when not to." And so the night that began as just another fight turned into a memory, a lesson, and a story people told again and again, because pride can be loud, but respect lasts forever. Wow, what a journey. I'd love to hear what you thought. Drop your reactions in the comments below. If this adventure left you smiling, inspired, or just itching for more, make sure to hit subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss the next story. Thanks for coming along on this ride. And remember, stay curious, stay brave, and keep exploring the world around you. Your next adventure is just around the corner.